Hey everybody, it's Dawn here and thank you for tuning in to today's video, which is where we get to explore Yule and the Winter Solstice, which is coming up. Now this is the time when the darkness reaches its peak and we have the longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. It's a time when the Earth is at its farthest point from the sun. Now the Winter Solstice is the day with the fewest hours of sunlight in the whole of the year, and that makes it the shortest day and also the longest night. After that, the light returns to the world and the days get incrementally longer. Now, it was an important time for our ancestors and it's an important time for ourselves now in this modern day and age. So I'm excited to be sharing with you my practices for Winter Solstice and Yule. Now we often think that winter solstice spans the whole day, but actually the solstice only lasts a moment. So specifically, it's the exact moment when the hemisphere is tilted as far away from the sun as it possibly can be. And in 2021, that year I'm filming this, in British Columbia where I live in Canada, that time is 12:59 PST, so Pacific Standard Time. Now in today's video I'm going to be giving you some ideas of how you can mark this turning of the year and how to bring ritual back into your life in a way that honours the time, the season and our relationship to it. Now the word solstice comes from Latin, so sol, which is sun, and sister is to stand still. So loosely translated it means the sun stands still. So why? Well, for a few days before and after the solstice, the sun's path across the sky, it appears to freeze. The change in its noontime elevation is so slight that the sun's path seems to stay the same or to stand still. Now, this gives us a clue because it's a perfect time for us to be still. It's a perfect time for us to press pause and go within. And in doing so, we mirror the earth, for she too has pressed pause. The fields are bare and life is dormant. Now, I personally love this time of year and I enjoy the opportunities for ritual and for ceremony and for just going within. So whether you're working as a solitary or in a group, here are some thoughts on how you can bring some ceremony and ritual to this time of year for yourself. Now there's no coincidence that Christmas celebrations include decorating your home and putting up, well, a Christmas tree, because these have got ancient origins. Now our ancestors would have brought a little bit of the outside in at this time to brighten things up within the home. So if you want to decorate your altar, the colours of Yule are reds and greens and whites and silvers and gold. Associated herbs are mistletoe, myrrh, frankincense, star anise, cinnamon, clove, coriander. But other associations are oak and apple and orange and pomegranate. Now when I was a child, I'd sit with my gran and we'd stick cloves into an orange to make a decoration for Christmas. And this is a lovely thing that you can do if you've got some children that you want to bring into your Yule celebrations. Maybe you can do it by watching a good movie by the fire, listening to some nice music. You can also cut some oranges into slices and dry them and use them as decorations on your Yule altar, in your wreath, or even on your Christmas tree. Now, some of the sacred plants for this time of year include cedar, fir, holly and ivy. And evergreens were cut and they were brought indoors to symbolise life, rebirth and renewal. Now holly was often used to decorate doors, windows and also fireplaces, and this was because of its prickliness. It was thought to capture or to ward off evil spirits before they could enter the home and cause harm. And mistletoe also held much importance as it was used by Druid priests in special ceremonies during the winter solstice. Now, because mistletoe could blossom even during the frozen winter, the Druids came to view it as a really sacred symbol of vivacity and procreation, and they'd administer it to humans and to animals alike in the hope of restoring fertility. And this is one of the reasons why we kiss under the mistletoe today. So give some thought into your decorations. Have your altar decked out for the season and bring some of that wonderful outside greenery inside. Go out and collect some evergreens, some pine cones, some holly, some branches, and adorn your home. Not only does it look good, it smells good. Now, wreaths were also traditional in ancient times. Now, they symbolize the wheel of the year, but also completion of another cycle. They were made with evergreens and they were adorned with cones and berries, and they were hung as decorations throughout the home. And they were also given as gifts to symbolize the infinity of goodwill, friendship and joyfulness. So now's the time to make your own wreath to hang it on your door. Now, you can often find local plant nurseries that hold wreath making workshops, or you can check out good old YouTube, as I know there are a whole host of different wreath making how-to videos on there. Now, of course, you can also purchase one, but I don't think that's as much fun. Now, accounts as to the history and the origins of the Christmas tree vary, and I'm not going to go and try kind of untangle some of those knots here. But I do want to talk about the Christmas tree because it's an opportunity to represent nature, particularly if you have a real tree. Now, if you're at all concerned about the environment and the practice of cutting down a tree just for this time of year, you can invest in a live tree which is potted and one that you can bring in just for Christmas and then pop outside. And of course, you can have an artificial tree like me, whatever works for you. And you might want to think about adding some natural decorations to the tree so that you bring that outside in. So maybe go out and collect some pine cones, as I said before, which you can place on the branches, dry some oranges, pop those on as well. Maybe think of making a Yule log, because they're really good to make this time of year. Now, I'm not talking about the chocolate variety, but an actual log and decorate it. Now, it has a long history all through our ancestors. And now they all did it a little bit different, and our modern day interpretations of that are a little bit different. But it was originally an actual entire tree that was carefully chosen, and it was brought into the house with great ceremony. The largest part of the log would be placed into the hearth, and the rest of the tree stuck out into the room. And the log would be lit from the remains of the previous year's log, which had been carefully stored away. And then it was slowly fed into the fire. Now, again, different cultures may have different customs associated with the making and the burning of Yule logs, but it's probably safe to say that not many people will be able to bring a whole tree into their house to burn. So this is why we reduce the Yule logs down into a small portion, a small log. We drill holes in it for candles, and we decorate it with evergreens and bows, and we pop some beautiful candles in there, which we get to light on the solstice to welcome back the sun, then continue to do that in the weeks following the solstice. So that brings me to one of the focuses for the solstice itself, and that's about welcoming back the sun. We get to encourage the light to return, and it's a beautiful ritual that you can do on the evening of the solstice. And all that you'll need for that are a few candles. Now, I have included a short ritual in the description below if you want to have a go at doing some ceremony. And of course, there are many variations of welcoming back the light and the sun. But I found this a very powerful ceremony, and I hope you'll enjoy it too. Now, another focus for me at Yule is that pause that I was talking to at the start of the video. When winter nights are drawn in, it's a really great time for ourselves to go within and to do some meditation and some reflection. And I like to focus on what's ending and then what's beginning and what my intentions are for the next calendar year. Now, I'll often journal, or sometimes I'll do a vision board around the topic of what new ideas do I want to seed now, and how best can I nurture them over the coming months, with the outcome being that it comes to fruition. Now, other things that you can do at Yule is a bit of candle gazing. Now, that's always a firm favourite of mine, and I do have a video on that very practice, which I will link below if you want to know how to do that and give it a little go. Or if you have a fire like this one, do some fire scrying. And that's another thing that I love to do. Now, healing is an aspect of the winter solstice, and one of my favorite practices for this is the burning of something symbolically in a fire. Really love to burn things in a fire. So whether it's a bonfire, a fire in your home, or just a flame retardant container, this practice really helps us to let go of a burden that we've been carrying around, and it allows us to transmute it. It helps us to let go and start the healing process. We get to lighten the load. And all you do for that, it's really simple, is write down anything that you wish to leave behind in this next coming year, and burn the paper, safely of course. Now, if you want to practice some divination at this time, dark winter nights are a great opportunity to do that. And I will add a playlist below in the description which has a number of different types of divinationary practices if you're looking for a new idea, or of course you can rely on the divination practice that you enjoy. Now, whatever ritual you put together, trust that it's going to be the perfect ritual for you. Don't get pulled into dogma of what you must do or you should do around this time. Really be guided by your intuition. You can't do anything wrong. But hopefully I've given you some thoughts and some inspirations as to what you can create for yourself. Like I say, these can be solo practices or with others, but you get to create your perfect solstice and your Yule celebrations. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video and support my channel. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope that you have a wonderful and magical Yule and winter solstice. Ta-ta for now.